The allegations Meghan has made are simply not true. Her account does not reflect what actually happened, and it has led the public to a deeply misleading impression. That version of events has no basis in...
The sound of the pen touching paper lasted only seconds, but inside the monarchy, it carried the force of a closing door. Prince William had made his decision. Before him lay a royal warrant removing one of Meghan's most symbolically important patronages and transferring it directly to Princess Kate. There was no temporary arrangement, no ceremonial delay, and no room for negotiation. With one signature, the future king redrew the boundaries of royal loyalty. Before we go deeper into what this really means for the royal family, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single update. William kept the pen in his hand after the ink dried. He did not smile. The prince understood that a royal warrant, an official document authorizing a decision in the monarch's name, could settle an institutional question while opening a family wound. This one permanently placed Meghan's former patronage under Catherine's protection, ending years of uncertainty over who could represent it. The decision mattered because patronage was never just a name beneath a crest. It carried public trust, palace support, and the right to speak for an organization tied to the crown. William knew those privileges could not remain frozen between memory and duty. Yet the transfer would look personal. To Meghan, it would feel like rejection. To Catherine, responsibility sharpened into conflict. Catherine received the news in private. She folded her hands and asked the question William had expected. Had Meghan already been told? The princess did not celebrate, because she understood what accepting the role would mean. Every future appearance, speech, and public success could be measured against the woman who had held it before her. Then the sealed instruction changed everything. A confidential implementation order, a private directive explaining how the warrant must be enforced, required the transfer to begin at once. Meghan's name would disappear from programs, official correspondence, and ceremonial records connected to active work. No slow transition. No symbolic overlap. A senior court official read the final clause and looked toward William. The usual review language was missing. The prince had rejected any automatic path back, even if Harry later reconciled with Charles and the royal household. The official asked whether that omission was deliberate. William set the pen down and answered with one word: yes. Across the Atlantic, Meghan received a message requesting a call. She expected discussion, perhaps negotiation. Instead, she would hear that the decision had already been signed, sealed, and made permanent. William's signature may have settled the royal paperwork, but the real explosion would begin when Meghan understood that Catherine had not merely inherited a role, she had been chosen to replace her. To the public, the transfer appeared to concern a single patronage. Inside the family, it represented something far more dangerous. Meghan saw the role as proof that she had once possessed a meaningful place within the monarchy. Catherine viewed it as a responsibility that could no longer remain suspended. Between them stood William, forced to choose not only who would lead the organization, but whose version of royal service the institution would recognize as legitimate. Meghan had once embraced the patronage with real ambition. During her years as a working royal, she treated it as more than a ceremonial duty. A royal patronage, an official relationship, in which a member of the monarchy publicly supports an organization, gave her a chance to connect the crown with younger and more diverse communities. It also gave her something deeply personal, a place where her identity and royal service seemed able to exist together. Catherine represented a different kind of strength. She had spent years building trust through patience, restraint, and consistency. The princess rarely demanded attention, yet she remained present when the cameras disappeared and the applause faded. Taking over the patronage would strengthen her place as the central female figure in William's future reign, but she understood that every success could be interpreted as another loss for Meghan. The scheduled call came without warmth. Meghan listened in silence as a palace representative read the decision from a documented briefing approved by William's office. Her fingers tightened around the phone, but she did not interrupt. When the official finished, she allowed several seconds to pass before asking the only question that mattered to her. Did Catherine request it? The representative gave a careful answer. Catherine had accepted the responsibility, but the warrant had been authorized by William. Meghan heard the distinction, yet it brought no comfort. The role had not merely moved forward. It had moved directly to the woman against whom she had been compared for years. Catherine felt no victory either. Sitting privately with William, she told the prince that she would accept the patronage, but the announcement could not sound triumphant. She would not allow public duty to become private humiliation. William agreed, though he withheld one dangerous detail. Meghan had recently contacted the patronage's leadership through a carefully written message. She had asked whether she might attend a future anniversary event in an unofficial capacity. The request reached William's office only days before he signed the warrant. After the call, Meghan stood beside a table covered with unfinished project notes. She opened a small keepsake box, removed an old patronage pin, and placed it on the table. Then she closed the lid with both hands. Once she discovered the timing, the transfer would no longer look administrative. It would feel like an answer to her attempted return. The transfer had reopened an old wound, but the reason William acted so decisively could be traced to one ceremony where private tension became impossible for the palace to ignore. Every irreversible royal decision has a moment that precedes it. Warning ignored, a boundary crossed, or a conversation that changes how trust is measured. For William, that moment came during a private anniversary ceremony at St. James's Palace. Meghan was not officially attending, yet her name suddenly appeared in prepared remarks, intended for the patronage's leadership. What followed lasted less than 10 minutes, but it convinced the future king that ambiguity had become more dangerous than confrontation. The uncertainty had been growing for years. After Meghan stepped away from royal duties, the patronage remained tied to her history, but separated from her daily involvement. A patronage required more than symbolic affection. It depended on an active royal figure who could attend events, approve major initiatives, and maintain direct contact with the palace. Some trustees wanted Meghan's connection preserved. Others feared that an absent patron could not hold the position forever. Catherine understood the tension, but she did not expect it to erupt in public. During the anniversary ceremony, the organization's chair suddenly announced that Meghan had expressed interest in renewing her personal relationship with the patronage. Then came the real shock. He suggested a future joint appearance involving both Meghan and Catherine, presenting it as a gesture of royal healing. The princess remained composed, but William felt the atmosphere change at once. Catherine lowered the program onto her lap as every face turned toward her. She had not approved the proposal. She had not even been warned. Yet the room now waited for a reaction, as though her silence could be treated as consent. William waited until the ceremony ended. Then he asked the chair to join him in a side chamber, without aides or advisors. The prince demanded to know who had authorized Meghan's proposal to be raised at an official royal event. The answer deepened the betrayal. The chair revealed through a documented account later delivered to palace officials that a representative connected to Meghan had contacted several trustees privately. The possible reunion had been presented as a powerful sign of reconciliation, but neither William nor Catherine had been consulted. The future king did not raise his voice. That made his anger more severe. He warned that private messages could not be used to create public pressure around Catherine. When William left the chamber, he closed the door softly. The princess was waiting in the corridor. "You will not be surprised like that again," he told her. That evening, William instructed his legal secretary to prepare formal options for permanently resolving the patronage. He would not allow Catherine to be placed inside another arrangement designed beyond official authority. The transfer had begun, but Charles understood the danger before anyone else. The king feared that William's decision would not merely close a patronage dispute. It could destroy his last hope of bringing Harry back. The promise William made to Catherine would soon bring him face to face with his father, forcing two generations of kingship to collide over the cost of mercy. The confrontation took place without secretaries, advisors, or witnesses. King Charles entered, believing the warrant could still be delayed. William entered knowing it was already prepared for his signature. Between them sat a single red dispatch box containing the future of Meghan's royal patronage and something far more personal. The king saw one final bridge to his younger son. The prince saw an institution being manipulated by uncertainty. Neither man intended to leave the room unchanged. Charles began carefully. He believed that preserving one symbolic connection to Meghan might keep reconciliation with Harry possible. To the monarch, removing every remaining link would turn a painful family separation into something permanent. A royal patronage and official bond between a member of the monarchy and a charitable organization could still act as a thread connecting the Sussexes to the crown. William rejected that idea immediately. The prince argued that patronages could not be held open as emotional bargaining tools. They demanded active leadership, public accountability, and loyalty to the institution granting them. Meghan was no longer performing those duties. Catherine had been carrying the burden instead. The king asked for 6 months. Just 6 months before the warrant was signed. William refused. He reminded Charles that Catherine had repeatedly accepted responsibilities left unresolved by others, all while remaining silent about the pressure. The future king would not ask her to wait again while the palace protected feelings at the cost of stability. Then Charles said Harry's name. The monarch warned that his younger son would see the transfer as an attack on his wife. William answered that Harry's interpretation could not determine the structure of the monarchy. The words were calm, but their coldness struck Charles harder than anger might have done. For a moment, the king looked not at an heir, but at one brother closing a door on another. Charles finally revealed the private appeal. Harry had sent him a documented message asking that Meghan's remaining charitable connections not be erased. It was not written as a threat, it was a plea for dignity. William already knew. The prince had read the message, but he had also received legal advice warning that continued uncertainty could allow Meghan's representatives to imply that she still carried royal endorsement. That risk, he said, could no longer be ignored. Charles placed his palm on the closed dispatch box. Once this is opened, we cannot pretend it was only administration. William moved the box gently toward himself. That is why it must be done properly. The king then asked the question neither man had fully confronted. Did Catherine truly want the patronage, or was William choosing for her? The prince did not answer on her behalf. Instead, he arranged for Catherine to speak privately with Charles. The dispute could no longer remain between father and son, because Catherine was about to reveal what accepting Meghan's former role would cost her personally. Catherine did not enter the king's private sitting room to demand authority. She came prepared to refuse it. While William and Charles had argued over law, precedent, and reconciliation, the princess understood the human price waiting beneath the decision. Accepting Meghan's former patronage would expose her to accusations of ambition, rivalry, and revenge. Yet declining it would leave the organization trapped in uncertainty. Her answer would determine whether William's warrant became an act of punishment or responsibility. Catherine had reached a point where every new duty carried more than ceremonial meaning. As the future queen, she was expected to provide stability not for a season, but for decades. Senior officials believed the transfer would place the patronage beside her wider charitable work and guarantee regular support from the direct line of succession, meaning the branch of the royal family expected to inherit the crown. Charles listened as she explained what the decision could become in the public mind. Kate told the king she would not accept the role if its true purpose was to wound Meghan. She refused to become the polished face of a family punishment. Duty could demand firmness, she said, but it should never require cruelty. The monarch did not challenge her. Instead, he admitted something rarely spoken aloud. Catherine had spent years absorbing criticism created by other people's choices. She had been expected to remain calm while strangers assigned ambition to her silence and calculation to her restraint. This transfer could place her at the center of anger she had not created. Kate then set her condition. She would accept only if the warrant protected the patronage's independence, and if the announcement focused on the people it served, not on Meghan's removal. The beneficiaries could not be reduced to background figures in another royal conflict. Then Catherine asked to write to Meghan herself. William hesitated when the request reached him. The prince feared that any private message might be released, misread, or presented as an admission of guilt. Catherine understood the danger, but she refused to let fear control every family exchange. If the decision had to be final, compassion still had to be real. William finally agreed. Kate wrote 4 short paragraphs by hand. She explained that the transfer was about responsibility, not triumph. She promised to respect the work already done. Then she reread the final page and removed one sentence that sounded too careful, too distant, too royal. In its place, she wrote, "I know this will hurt, and I am sorry that duty has placed us here." Catherine sealed the note knowing it could not reverse the warrant. It could only reveal the spirit in which she accepted it. But when Meghan read those words, compassion and finality became impossible to separate. The envelope arrived before the announcement, delivered with the careful discretion reserved for matters the palace did not want misunderstood. Meghan recognized Catherine's handwriting immediately. For a brief moment, she believed the princess might be warning her that the warrant had been stopped. Instead, the note confirmed that the transfer was proceeding. Its language was gentle, almost painfully so. But to Meghan, kindness could not change the central truth. Another woman was being given a royal identity she had once considered her own. Meghan received the letter only hours before the palace planned to announce the transfer. The timing left her almost powerless. She had no real chance to contact the organization, prepare its staff, or shape the public response before the news became official. Once the announcement appeared, her name would be removed from active programs, future events, annual reports, and royal correspondence. Historical records would still acknowledge her past work, but her authority would end completely. She read Catherine's message twice. Then Meghan placed it on the table and walked away. Moments later, she returned, lifted the page, and circled the sentence, admitting that the decision would hurt. The Duchess did not doubt the sympathy behind those words. What wounded her was the finality beneath them. Compassion had arrived, but only after the choice had already been made. Harry found her holding the folded letter. The Duke asked what Catherine had written, and Meghan answered without looking at him. It feels like a verdict delivered in a softer voice. Harry understood the anger, but he also recognized the danger. Meghan had already begun drafting a public statement. It thanked the patronage for the years they had shared, praised the people behind its work, and declared that meaningful service did not depend on royal titles. The message sounded dignified, yet its final lines carried a sharp challenge to William's authority. Harry reached for the page. Meghan placed her hand over it first. For several seconds, neither moved. Then the prince asked her not to release it. He feared an immediate response would confirm every palace expectation of conflict and push him further from Charles. For the first time, Harry did not ask for silence to protect the monarchy. He asked for it to protect whatever remained between a father and his son. The request broke through her anger. Meghan slowly turned the statement face down. Instead of addressing the public, she sent Catherine a private 2-line reply through a documented message. I received your note. I understand the decision, even if I cannot accept what it says about my place in the family. When Kate read those words, she finally understood the true wound. Meghan was not only grieving a patronage, she believed the monarchy was removing her from its story. Meghan's silence prevented an immediate public war, but inside the palace, her final sentence forced Catherine to reconsider what victory truly looked like. After the warrant was signed, Catherine asked William to walk with her without aids, folders, or prepared language. The patronage was now hers, yet she felt no sense of conquest. Meghan's reply had revealed the deeper wound beneath the dispute, the belief that losing a royal role meant losing a place within the family itself. Catherine could not reverse the decision, but she could decide what kind of future queen would emerge from it. The legal reality left little room for retreat. The warrant had been completed, the transfer was binding, and any attempt to withdraw it would create embarrassment for the crown while throwing the organization back into uncertainty. A royal warrant, an official document that gives formal authority to a decision, was not something the palace could quietly pretend had never existed. Catherine now had to prepare for her first engagement as patron. Every word, every pause, and every sign of confidence would be judged against Meghan's absence. Kate understood that success might be praised as proof of stability, but it could also be used as evidence that one woman had replaced another. Walking alone with William, she admitted what had been troubling her. She felt as though she had accepted something taken from someone else, even though the role could not remain vacant. The princess did not question the need for leadership. She questioned the emotion that had driven the speed of the decision. William finally confessed what he had avoided saying aloud. His anger over the St. James's ceremony had influenced him. The prince still believed the warrant was necessary, but protecting Catherine and punishing disorder had become tangled together. Duty had been present, so had resentment. Then Kate asked the question he could not answer quickly. Would he have signed so soon if Meghan's name had not been attached? William stopped. His silence lasted only a few seconds, but it carried the weight of an admission. The future king had acted for the institution, yet family pain had sharpened his hand. Catherine refused to let that pain define what followed. She decided that her first act as patron would preserve one of the initiatives Meghan had launched during her tenure. Its original purpose would be publicly acknowledged, while Catherine's present authority remained clear. William accepted the distinction. He instructed officials to keep an accurate historical record of Meghan's contribution, rather than erase it from the institution's story. The prince reached for Catherine's hand. "I signed to protect the future. Then we must make sure the future does not become cruel," she replied. Minutes later, the palace announcement was released. The warrant became public, and the story spread across broadcasts, newspapers, and crowds outside royal residences. Their private understanding would soon face a harsher audience, as the world transformed one royal signature into a referendum on loyalty, exile, and the women at the center of the monarchy. By midday, the warrant was no longer a private royal instrument. It had become a global spectacle. Supporters praised William for ending uncertainty and strengthening Catherine's future position. Critics accused the palace of stripping Meghan's legacy piece by piece. Every headline seemed to choose a side. Yet one image captured the public mood more powerfully than any debate. Catherine arriving for her first engagement, while a crowd outside Kensington Palace shouted two women's names in competing waves. The palace statement confirmed that Princess Kate had become the patronage's permanent royal representative, under a warrant signed by William. The announcement stressed continuity, service, and long-term leadership. A permanent royal representative meant the organization now had an active member of the monarchy authorized to support its work, attend engagements, and maintain a direct relationship with the crown. Commentators immediately divided. Some called the decision an administrative necessity after years of uncertainty. Others described it as the clearest sign yet that Meghan's formal royal chapter had been closed. The language was polite, but the judgment beneath it was brutal. One woman had been given the future. The other had been assigned to history. Catherine heard the division before she even entered her first engagement. One group cheered her name. Another called out for Meghan. Kate's expression tightened for only a moment before she turned toward the people waiting inside. The princess understood that hesitation would be called guilt, while confidence might be labeled triumph. Across the Atlantic, Meghan watched the live coverage with Harry beside her. The Duchess lowered the volume when Catherine appeared beneath the patronage's updated emblem, but she did not turn away. Harry noticed. He said nothing, because both understood what the image meant. The transfer was no longer private correspondence. It had become public fact. Then a London newspaper intensified the anger. Its front page placed William's signature beside portraits of the two women under the headline, "The Crown Chooses Kate." Critics accused the publication of turning duty into humiliation and family pain into competition. Outside Kensington Palace, two women began arguing. One carried a Union flag. The other held a sign reading, "Service is not ownership." Their voices rose until both suddenly admitted the same uncomfortable truth. The family's private suffering had become public entertainment. Catherine answered the noise through her speech. She credited those who had created the patronage's earlier programs, preserving Meghan's contribution without reopening the question of authority. Then the princess made clear that responsibility had entered a new chapter. Afterward, a young beneficiary approached her and said, "We just need someone who stays." The words struck deeper than the headlines. Once the crowds dispersed and the broadcast moved on, William, Catherine, Meghan, and Harry were left to confront what the warrant had permanently ended, and what, despite everything, it had not destroyed. In the end, the royal warrant achieved exactly what William intended. It ended uncertainty, placed the patronage under active leadership, and confirmed Catherine's position at the heart of the monarchy's future. But no signature could make the decision painless. Meghan lost one of her final formal connections to royal service. Harry saw another bridge to his old life disappear. Charles accepted that reconciliation could not be built by preserving empty titles, and Catherine inherited responsibility without allowing it to become revenge. Catherine completed her first full program as patron, and committed herself to a multi-year plan that would expand the organization's work. A royal patron is a member of the monarchy who formally supports an institution and gives its mission public authority. Her leadership was no longer temporary, symbolic, or dependent on private family negotiations. The princess had accepted the burden, and she intended to carry it fully. Meghan chose a quieter ending. She did not release the confrontational statement she had drafted. Instead, the Duchess sent a private written message to the patronage's chair, thanking the staff for their past work and acknowledging that Catherine now possessed the authority to lead. The words did not signal forgiveness, they signaled acceptance. Harry reminded his wife that losing the title did not erase the people she had helped. The Duke watched as Meghan placed Catherine's letter inside the keepsake box beside the old patronage pin. She closed the lid slowly. That gesture did not repair the family, but it ended the argument inside her. The chapter was over. William attended Catherine's next engagement without claiming the moment. He remained behind the main audience and listened as the princess spoke with confidence, compassion, and command. The prince finally understood that the warrant had not given her stature. It had only recognized the stature she had already earned. Charles reached his own conclusion through a documented private exchange with William. After signing the accompanying registry entry, the official record confirming the transfer, the king admitted that the monarchy had to separate an open family door from an undecided institution. He no longer asked for reversal. Catherine then noticed Meghan's original initiative displayed beside the new program. Kate paused, touched its edge, and left it exactly where it stood. That final choice defined the verdict. Catherine had not defeated Meghan. She had accepted a duty another woman could no longer perform. Meghan had not been erased, because her contribution remained part of the record, but her formal royal authority was finished. William's signature marked the moment the crown chose clarity over ambiguity, duty over sentiment, and a functioning future over an unresolved past. The warrant closed Meghan's official chapter, secured Catherine's responsibility, and defined the future king's emerging reign with one uncompromising principle. The past would be remembered, but the future would belong to those prepared to remain and serve. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you in next one.